collectibles. I can't even spell collectibles, people. This is how sad it is. I have no thumbnail. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? We're just gonna talk about 1950s Treasure Island and possibly some toys, which I need to actually Google because I'm afraid I don't know how to pronounce them. And I'm kind of embarrassed. No, they're toys, but they're not plushes. So see here, I'll show you what I'm talking about, people, while we're doing this. This right here. Let me just go back over here. I wanted to talk about these little crazy things. What are they? What are they? Tsum Tsums? Tums Tums? Lums Lums? I have no idea how to pronounce them. I was at the local thrift store. So we'll talk about Treasure Island shortly. But I want to talk about this first. I was at the local thrift store and someone had dropped off a bag. I don't collect them because, well, when I start collecting something, things go bad. Things go really bad. I start obsessing. I start looking up, how many did they make? And can I collect them all? Is it possible? I'm trying to take a picture. Like, look at that. And that's just some of them. Then I got some more. I don't know. It's like insane. It is insane. So I've got to do some research and figuring out what these things are. But I wanted to look them up because I have them. They're interesting. Hey, let's talk about them for a bit. So let's take a look at where is the okay. First, Tsum Tsum. Is that Tsum Tsum? Tsum Tsum, pronounced Tsum Tsum, is a range of Japanese collectible toys based on Disney-owned characters. The name is derived from the Japanese verb sumu, meaning to stack. Okay, so yes, they are meant to stack on each other. Like, hello. Oh, wrong way. Look at me, we're stacking. Of course, if they've got something on their head, there's a gap. They don't really stack that nice. You gotta like stack them backwards or something. There must be like I'm sure that there is forums on the proper way of stacking Tsum Tsum. Tsum Tsum? Anyway, okay, they were available December 16th, 2014. But let's take a look. I mean, see, this is like, oh my goodness, this is what I need. Like, I need to look up a list of everything because it's like, come on, don't do this to me. I mean, is there a list? Is there a list? I'm gonna have to look this up later, guys. But what do you think? What do you think of all of the things that you can collect at Disney? Pins, they're cool. I like pins. Hats, decorations. You can collect kitchen things. You guys. I don't need to explain this to you. You guys have been to Disneyland. You know that there's tons of stuff. But for some reason, I never expected this to be as popular as it is. Like, they stack. See? Oh, the green screen. See, he's disappeared. It's a green bow. You'll have to take my word for it. See, this decoration is also green. You probably can't see it. And then they have different sizes, which is another kind of weird. Oh, this is not a Tsum Tsum. I don't know what that is. It's a headless toy. I guess when you get them from the dollar or the whatever they are, whatever the. I can't even remember. My mind is blanking on the store. But when you buy them, secondhand store, thank you, you're not going to always get what you think you're going to get. But this is utterly bizarre. Yeah, man, man. So it's been going for almost 7 years now. And I'm assuming that there are thousands of them. I've seen them in the plush. My kids have had a couple plush. But I don't know, there's just something about the small, harder ones that just seem cooler to me. Maybe I'm just lame that way. But anyway, if you guys want to add your 2 cents about your thoughts on this, I didn't do any preparation for talking about these guys. I just literally remembered, I have a bag sitting behind my chair of these creatures. And now I understand. I want to stack them. I'm stacking them now. Look there's a little Ursula. You have your looks, your pretty face, and don't underestimate the importance of body language. Ha! The men up there don't like a lot of blabber. They think a girl who gossips is a bore. Yes, it's much preferred on land for ladies not to say a word, and after all, dear, what is idle prattle for? Come on, they're not all that impressed with conversation. True gentlemen avoid it when they can, but they don't soon enthrall on a lady who's with... I don't even know the words to that, so I'm going to have to look that up at some point. But I'm having fun stacking. Tra-la-la. Oh, there's like a little mini baby Jasmine. A whole new world. I wish I could go to the park and see, are these things still popular? Are they still selling out? But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. We are talking about Treasure Island. I have been interested in Disney movies for a long time. When I was growing up and I got sick and stayed at home, I would often watch the Swiss Family Robinson movie, which is awesome and amazing. And it was like over 2 hours long. So to me, that was like, I love this movie. And it's one of the original, it was Marvel before Marvel. Most movies ended like an hour and a half. This was like 2 hours. It was amazing. And I kind of had a crush on Roberta, of the pretty young pixie-haired lass. She was cute. And I think she's dead now, which makes me sad. But we'll talk about that down the road. I want to do a live action movie series. And I want to watch every single live action Disney movie and talk to you about it. Once a week, hopefully. And with over 150 movies, that means we should be done in 3 years. So let's get started with the very first live action movie from Disney. All the previous ones had, like Song of the South had animation in it, and a few other ones, they all had animation. This is the first pure live action movie made by Disney, 1950. Shall we play the trailer? Yes, we shall. Okay, are you ready? Let me just make sure that... I hope you guys can hear me. If not, you're just going to have to Google the trailer itself. Ready, set. Just making sure. Oh, yes. Nothing that says adventure is in text.
Walt Disney, whose artistry marked a new era in motion picture entertainment, now sets a new milestone with his first all-live action feature, Treasure Island. The story which
It's very-
thrilled 200 million readers throughout the world.
Trailers are very different.
Only
now.
Walt Disney could bring to realistic life, and with such dramatic impact, Robert Louis Stevenson's memorable characters. Long John Silver, portrayed by that world-famous star, Robert
Does he have, like,
Newton.
he's got, like,
We
his
can
eye.
take this ship
Is that
right
the
now.
character
Then
that
I
he
say
did?
cut the
Or is that an
throats.
actor? Was it the actor that played this?
And I say there'll be no killing till I gives the word. Shipmates.
Shipmates.
Bobby Driscoll, the 1949 Academy Award winner for his outstanding performances in The Window and So Dear to My Heart, plays Jim Hawkins, the boy who faced 1,000
I remember watching
dangers.
this scene in the movie.
One
They
more
should've-
step, Mr. Hands.
It was pretty
and I'll
obvious.
blow your brains out.
This just
Yes,
gives
they're
away a
all
big part of
here.
it.
Pompous Squire Trelawney, Captain Smollett, Dr. Livesey, the murderous Black Dog, rum-swigging Billy
These guys have,
Bones,
like, a small role.
the villainous Blind Pew,
Like,
and
5
poor
minutes.
Ben Gunn, marooned on Treasure
Hey, look at
Island.
these amazing actors. Action. Definitely could have made this. Fight choreography. It was pretty awful. Do. And there we have it. That was the trailer for 1950s Treasure Island. So, where to begin with this? Let me just call up my notes here. We can talk about the actors, I suppose. Though, maybe not. Maybe we'll say the actors, all that juicy stuff for later. So, this film, filmed entirely in England, entirely British cast with the exception of Bobby Driscoll. He was sort of the lone American actor. And funny enough, I should say his parents, I mean, he was just a young buck. I doubt he's responsible for getting his own, work visas. Didn't have a work visa when he arrived to work in England. So basically, they said, like, okay, Bobby doesn't have a work visa. He can't shoot this film. However, he can appeal the decision. So they're going to kick him out. It's like, no, we're going to appeal. Disney's like, we're going to appeal this decision. They had 6 weeks. Like, the appeal process was 6 weeks long. So while they're appealing, they are shooting every single scene they can with Bobby Driscoll to see if they can get all his scenes done in that time. And when the appeal ran out and they said, nope, but he still has to leave the country. He can't stay to shoot. They had filmed most of his stuff. So everything that was left, just body doubles, like behind the scene, other child actors. So it wasn't Bobby Driscoll in those scenes. So I'd love to watch the film again and try and find out like where those scenes would be. Because generally speaking, I mean, they film, one location at a time before they move on to the next location. So you would think that all of his body double stuff would be in one place or in a couple places. So I don't know. I tried to look up information, a little bit more information on that. Didn't find anything. However, also a funny note is because I'm assuming the British government or the British film, whoever handles the visa thought that Disney screwed them over. Like, you filmed his stuff during the appeal. That's bad. So what they did was they banned Bobby Driscoll from filming in England again. They basically denied him his other attempts. Disney afterwards had planned on filming Robin Hood, which is next movie, Robin Hood and His Merry Men. Merry spelt Merrie. So they were going to film that with Bobby Driscoll as sort of like a young follower of Robin Hood. And I'm just forgetting the name here. Robert Newton. Sorry, I'm really bad with these names. I'm really bad with every single name, just so you guys know. But Robert, man, see what I'm talking about? I can't. Robert Newton, who is Long John Silver. He was going to be Friar Tuck. He bowed out of that for whatever reason, apparently. And Bobby Driscoll couldn't work in England, so he didn't do it. So there's that. And speaking of drinky, let me just find some more information here. Robert Newton, I guess, was a well-known or known at the time to have a reputation as being a bit of a drunkard. So, Haskin, the director, I guess this was his first job. I'm just going to read in my notes here. Yeah. So, he thought, I need to make sure that Robert Newton is sober for this. So, when he arrived, he first sort of sent him off to go fishing. I'm assuming he was an avid fisherman. Otherwise, why? Sort of a fishing trip to get him off the sauce. And then when he came back, he was like, he was going to be sort of my helper. The director wanted to make Robert Newton, to give him purpose, in other words. Not so he's sitting around like waiting for his next scene or whatever. He's going to make him an integral part of the production. So, we need you to go find and cast the character of Ben Gunn. Ben Gunn is the crazy guy at the end of the movie. Like, yes, you want to know the treasure, says you. I know where it is, says I. The guy who has a whole conversation with himself, sort of like what I'm doing now. It's a little sad. Anyway, so went fishing for an island, came back sunburned, his health restored, and apparently they had almost landed Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi, not the other Obi-Wan Kenobi, who I think did a good job. I'm just saying he's not Alec Guinness. But he was tied up with a show that was running at the Savoy Theatre, so yeah. And apparently, this is something that the director was saying. The booze had really taken an advanced hold on Newton, and he was unable to portray his concepts fully when the camera was rolling. So something was going on in his subconscious, and when the camera turned on, Newton just kind of, I don't want to say he was like gun shy or stage fright or something, but apparently rehearsals, when the camera wasn't running, he did even better. And I mean, a lot of people were saying this was like his best role, that he is best known for, that he set the standard, or I should say created the standard, because I don't think pirates really talked like this, but he created this pirate character and way of talking, and the bird on the shoulder, and Armin, that's what I say, I'll go. Yeah, referring to himself in the third person. Long John Silver will take. Anyway, long story short, Robert Newton created our sort of conception of pirates in his performance. And apparently he did an even better job in rehearsals, and when the camera turned on, not so great. So, and the camera work in Treasure Island was by legendary cinematographer Freddie Young, who I don't really know much about. However, he's won Academy Awards for Lawrence of Arabia in 1962, Dr. Zhivago in 1965, Ryan's Daughter, never even heard of that one, 1970. So in other words, this guy who's shooting Treasure Island knows what he's doing. And you can tell, like, you watch the movie, it looks pretty. It looks nice. I mean, the fighting choreography could have been better. It's kind of too late to fix it. But it definitely, when people are fighting and they're like obviously missing each other and it's slow, like, I'm coming to stab you with, or slash at you with a sword, and I'm slowing down so you have time to like grab my arm, and yeah. There's something to be said. Basically, this is my thoughts. So disagree with them if you wish. It doesn't hurt my feelings. for the longest time, well, I shouldn't say for the longest time, but film was originally filmed almost like a theatrical style. Like you watch the early stuff, they basically set up the camera where someone would be sitting in the theater and filmed things. You know, that one sort of wide shot, maybe a medium shot. It wasn't until Birth of a Nation by D.L. Griffith, notorious racist, made Birth of a Nation like a 3-hour-long ode to the Klan. Yikes. Anyway, but he basically is credited with creating like all the shots that we know, like the wide shot, medium shot, close up, you know, all that kind of stuff. The sort of the cinematic language that we know it today. But you watch old Disney movies and the camera is, you know, it is steady and it's back. So I think when the fighting maybe I'm being a little too hard on the choreographers, the fight choreographers. Like because they had to do it wide. You know, everyone can see everything. Camera's not moving, camera's not shaking. Nowadays, you know, they can cut in close. So you just see the sword moving in front of someone's face, or, you know, move the camera around, and it's always in motion. And so they can hide those horrible takes. But not so back then. So anyway, long story short, blah, blah, blah. It's a good movie. So let's talk about, there we are. Now I'm back up to my big picture. We are going to talk about the cast of Treasure Island. Boom! There's the man you know and love. You know him. I know him. The world knows him as Long John Silver. Arr. So what can I say about this guy? Let me just, once again, looking at my notes. Doesn't he it's weird. He doesn't look like an actor as we would think. I mean, sure, he's looking very dapper in his suit and hat. Definitely looks clean shaven. I think I would want him to do my taxes. He looks like an accountant. That's another theory I have actually about British actors. I think here in North America, actors are hired because they can act, but also because they look good. So that's why you're going to have I'm the head of psychiatry at this prestigious hospital, and I'm played by a 30-year-old model, male or female, doesn't matter. But the point is, they're like, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to be in your 50s or 60s and probably haggard looking and maybe, you know, too many late night meals and wrinkly. I don't know. The point is, no one looks that good. But Britain, they understand that actors play people from all walks of life. And so what's really important is, can you act? Not that could you sell underwear if we slapped you in an ad campaign. That's not, no. Can you act? So Britain has amazing actors. And of course, a long history of theater productions. So the fact that Treasure Island had an entire British cast didn't hurt. But Robert Newton, Long John Silver, he played a romantic male lead in a Hitchcock movie, Jamaica Inn. Haven't seen Jamaica Inn, but it's weird to look at him and think, yep, romantic lead. Definitely not something that would be done nowadays. He enlisted in the Royal Navy and saw active service in the rank of an able seaman on board HMS Britomart, which fought as an escort ship on several Russian convoys. After 2.5 years in the Royal Navy, he was medically discharged in 1953. So he saw action in World War II. Pretty impressive. I think a lot of people back then did see action. So maybe it's not special, but as someone who looks back, thank you for your service. He was cast as Bill Sykes in the 1948 Oliver Twist, which I can see him as. He does strike me as a very imposing, he could play a villain quite well. He was very good as Long John Silver. Likeable villain. His final performance on stage was in the 1950 production of Gaslight, and his last screen appearance was as Inspector Fix in Around the World in 80 Days, 1956. So, yeah. Oh, he was also considered to be the voice of Captain Hook. Obviously didn't get it. He was considered for the role of Friar Tuck in the story of Robin Hood and his Merry Men. Didn't get it. And the role of Captain Nemo in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Didn't get it. I think he would have done okay in all those roles. I can't see him being better than, well, the actor that did play Captain Nemo. But I'll have to watch that movie. That'll be further down in the series. So watch. And he married a whole bunch of times and had 3 kids. He was accused of kidnapping his son when he took him back to Hollywood in 1951. So not a real kidnapping. Like, just seems like, well, I shouldn't make light of it. Taking a child of even your own child without the other spouse's permission, probably very scary to the other spouse. You don't know what's going on. And since he was, I guess, known as an alcoholic, that probably adds a little bit of freakiness to the whole situation. So shame on you, Robert Newton, for doing that. He died March 25th, 1956, at the age of 50. Yeah. So he did a lot of stuff. But a little bit of a sad life with his alcoholism. But he had a fuller life than our next guest. So you know him, we know him, Bobby Driscoll. I feel like I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Driscoll. What? It is Driscoll. Yes. Okay. I was worried that there was no R and it's supposed to say Bobby Driscoll. But it's like, that's not right. It's the R, but why is it saying? But apparently I just couldn't type well. Oh, man, yeah. Now, there's not much, there's a lot. I feel sad for this guy. He and his family moved to LA, or at least California. I'm not sure if it was LA. When he was little, I guess his dad was having health problems due to asbestos. Understandable. And so the doctor recommended, I guess, a warmer climate. So they moved. And a chance haircut. He went in for a snip, and the barber is like, hey, my son's an actor and you're cute as a button. Maybe I could introduce you to my son and he can introduce you to film. And he did. So Bobby Driscoll with his freckles and cute as a button face. Come on. He was cute as a button. He did a lot of stuff. Let me just see if I can get some more information about that. What were some of the roles? Bobby. I typed booby. Anyway, Bobby Driscoll. Let's take a look at his Internet Movie Database listings. Oh, born March 3rd. That's close to my birthday. So, a lot to be said about this. Yeah. My notable screen appearances as the Fighting Sullivans. I haven't seen that one, so I can't really talk about it. But I think that was his first role. Song of the South, 1956. So Dear to My Heart, 1948. The Window, 1949. And I think he won the junior Oscar for So Dear to My Heart and The Window. So, a good actor. And then in 1950, Treasure Island. Oh, yeah. Very famous. And apparently, Walt Disney loved him. He sort of saw this, Bobby Driscoll as sort of the youthful embodiment of his childhood. And I think that's why he used him a lot. And he was the first actor to sign like an exclusive, like not lifelong, but like a contract with Disney, like an exclusivity contract. I'm only going to work for Disney. I say. Disney treats me right. So yeah, he voiced Peter Pan, 1953, and was the live action model for the movie. But his contract was prematurely terminated after the release of Peter Pan in late March 1953. So I would say that was kind of like his high mark was Peter Pan and Treasure Island, these few years. Because apparently he hit puberty. And as is common with young men and women, their voices change. They have breakouts of acne. And you just look at the Disney stars of today. Not a lot of them have turned out all right either. So he did some other movies, but he got into drugs, specifically heroin, apparently. He did find time in this milieu to get married and have some kids, 3 kids. I think 2 sons and a daughter. But let me just read the sad stuff. So, the last film that he did, it was just an appearance in an underground short called Dirt in 1965. Sort of an art house period with Andy Warhol's so-called factory. Oh, yeah. Before I forget about this, he was hanging out with Dean Stockwell. And now you guys probably don't know who Dean Stockwell, or maybe you just do and you don't care. But for me, he was in Quantum Leap, which was like my favorite show growing up. He played Al, the hologram, and was funny and hilarious. And apparently Dean Stockwell and a couple other people hung out with Bobby Driscoll. So if I could meet Dean Stockwell, I think I would like to ask him about that. Not that you'll ever see this, Dean Stockwell, but if you do, please send me an email. Put a comment down below about your thoughts or memories of Bobby Driscoll. So, let me just go back to the sad stuff. So, that was his final film was Dirt, 1965. He had spent some time in jail. Yeah, I guess he was convicted of drug offenses. So he's a former convict, but I'm not sure if he ever spent time in jail. But anyway, he traveled to New York. Movie Dirt. You can look it up on YouTube. It's a little risque. He plays one of the nuns at the end. I'm not sure he's the naked people in the tub. But yeah, then he disappeared. So on March 30th, 1968, 2 playing children found his dead body in an abandoned East Village tenement. And believed to be an unclaimed and homeless person, he was buried in an unmarked pauper's grave on Hart Island, where he remains. That, to me, is very sad. The fact, even at the end, he is still there. And the reason for that is, I guess, the church where they kept all the records for who was buried, like the people who were buried and their location and all that. Even if they don't have a name, they probably had like physical description and their belongings that they had on them. So because of that, I guess a fingerprint, they were able to identify that, yes, Bobby Driscoll is buried on Hart's Island, but the church and all its records burnt down at some point. So they know he's buried there, but they don't know where. So the family, like his kids or the grandkids, none of them can dig him up again and have him buried, properly, for lack of a better word, like in a family lot or with a proper gravestone. So it's sad. Child acting, you have to be really careful. I think it's something that happened then, and we see it even today. Child actors can get taken advantage of, can be treated like dirt, and they need people to shield them, I think, from a lot of the crap. Maybe I don't know his parents, maybe I don't know what they did or didn't do, or I don't know. But it's a shame that he died. It makes me sad. So, shall we move on to someone who, well, they died. They're all dead. They are all dead. But this is, let me just see if I can remember, Basil Sidney. Now, he played the lovely captain of this play, Captain Smollett. There's not much to say about it. I mean, like, he's a British actor. He was good. He played a lot. Entered the acting profession in 1909. His burgeoning was interrupted by the outbreak of World War I, during which he saw action with the Norfolk Regiment in the British Army. So, he fought in World War I. Then he played a whole bunch of plays and movies, and he wanted to be cast only in roles based on the works of Shakespeare or Shaw. So went to New York and back to theater and spent the 20s doing that. Didn't return to film until 1932. And let me see, what other things did he do? I want to say that he was... I got to look at his full... Man. I want to see his filmography because I have a feeling like he was in... there we go. I thought he was in Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I think he's been in other Disney stuff. But I'm just scanning through this. Armchair Theater, Question of Infidelity, Around the World in 80 Days. So he would have been in the same play with Robert Norton. So Basil, Captain Smollett, was in with Long John Silver for Around the World in 80 Days in 1956. And Treasure Island, yes, I get that. No, okay, I think that's it then. I don't see anything more for him. He lived a long life. He had some fun. He played a captain. Next up on the list, we have good old Walter Fitzgerald. He played, what's his name? See, that's how bad I am. Trelawney. See, I'm going to have to look up the name at some point. Anyway, he played the guy who was with, oh, you found the treasure map. Let's go and find it. And basically talked a lot around the village. And so all the sailors knew that they were looking for pirate treasure. So thanks a lot. However, this guy also played in Darby O'Gill and the Little People, which I have yet to see. This is one of the goals of my going through the series, is I want to watch every single live-action Disney movie. So hopefully I'll see more of him. And then, let me just quickly look at his... I don't like this... There's so little that... it's like they're a background character with just a few roles. Married a couple times. Squire Trelawney. That's his name, Squire. But my goodness. Biography, hard to find much about him. And then lastly, Dennis O'Day. Also, not a whole lot of things. He was in Fallen Island with our previous guest, and Treasure Island, and Darby O'Gill and the Little People. And apparently, I mean, I don't know much about Irish theatre, but there is a famed theatre in Ireland in Dublin called the Abbey Theatre, and I guess he was one of the leading members of that. And that theatre is still going on today. You guys can look it up and see it, and it's amazing. And they still do plays and behind the scenes stuff, and yeah. Sorry, I gotta go back. So that's what we have. I mean, there's lots of other lovely characters, but yeah, that's basically the cast. Now, I'm not sure how many of you guys have seen the movie. I'm assuming that everyone and their dog has seen it. The story, see, I should have done this at the beginning, but story, basically summing up. A young man working at an inn named, why did names, oh man, it's embarrassing. Anyway, I know I'll think of it later. Oh my goodness, this is going to bug me. Working at an inn, his mother is gone. Strangely enough, you never see the mother the entire play, or the entire movie. It's like she's gone, then a whole bunch of stuff happens, and then he decides to go on the adventure on the ship to get the pirate's treasure. Mother is not seen once. Oh, it's a long night. And so he finds someone comes called Black Dog. They're like, have you seen someone called William Bones, or Billy Bones, as they say? And so, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. William Bones, you say? No, I don't. And then, of course, there's a little cupboard under the stairs that opens up, and there's a chest with WB, and of course he's here. So he runs off. Billy Bones comes down the stairs, drunk out of his mind. Well, actually, no, is he drunk out of his mind? He's an alcoholic. I'm not sure if he's drunk at that point, but he wants a drink. And he knows that they're coming for him. So he drinks. It's like, no, don't do it. And then Billy Bones like, they're going to come for my treasure, and cuts open his chest and pulls out a map. And then there is another guy. When does he show up? Anyway, point being, I have to look this up, otherwise it's going to drive me nuts. Okay? Because if I don't look it up, it's going to be Jim Hawkins. Ugh, how can I have forgotten Jim Hawkins? Anyway, so Jim Hawkins comes into possession of the map. Billy Bones dies. And because he's drinking himself to death, Jim Hawkins takes the map, goes to get the doctor and the squire. He'll fix everything. They come back and find the inn ransacked by pirates. Looking for the map, Billy Bones is dead. So he shows, now it's like, since Billy Bones is dead, he probably doesn't mind if I show you what he gave me. And he shows him the map, and they're like, oh, it's a treasure map. Squire Trelawney is very excited about this. So he's like, let's go. Let's rent a ship and go find this. So they decide to do it. And Jim Hawkins is going to come along as the cabin boy. So he's very excited. However, jump ahead, and they're in the village waiting for the ship to be ready to sail, and the stupid Captain Smollett is taking forever, hiring a crew. He's careful, and he interviews them and stuff. It's lame. So Smollett wants to, not Captain Smollett, Squire Trelane wants to speed things up. So he hires a cook. He hires the cook. And who does he hire? Because he makes the best eggs and toast. Long John Silver, who has one leg and who Billy Bones warned Jim Hawkins about. Beware the man with the one leg. So Jim Hawkins is a little suspicious. But Long John Silver seems like a nice guy. A little rough around the edges, but he's charming in his piratey kind of way. And he convinces Squire Trelawney to let him hire the rest of the crew. He's like, I know all sorts of men. Give me some time and I'll get you a crew. So Squire Trelawney does that. And of course he shows up. And who does Long John Silver hire? But basically his pirate crew. Long John Silver was like the first mate of the pirate that hid the treasure. Just so you guys know. So the crew is manned by all these pirates, and then on the other side, the good guys is the captain, Squire Trelane, the doctor, and a few of the pirates that are pirates, a few of the sailors. So a plan is put into action by Long John Silver to weed out these people. He, manages to kill the sort of the lead sailor by giving him rum-infused dessert, I guess, a bread of some sort, I don't know. And then sending him up on board on the deck during a storm, and he falls overboard and dies. Long John Silver. And he goes like, at the end of the service, he's like, Amen. It was just like, that's awesome. So, he is, weeding them out. I think he's convinced a couple of the good sailors to join their side as well. But one of his pirates is spoiling for a fight and launches the mutiny a little ahead of schedule. Because all the weapons were locked up, the Squire and the captain are able to take control and lock up all the pirates. But Long John Silver and a few of his men are in the rowboats rowing out to the island. So they cut the ropes and take Jim Hawkins as a prisoner, and they go out to the island. Jim Hawkins escapes, meets Ben Gunn. Then he meets up with the good guys because they come to rescue Hawkins because they're like good guys. And then for the rest of the movie, it's this back and forth. They are in a little cabin, wood fort, holding off the pirates, fighting, trying to fend them off and gain control of the ship because the pirates that were locked up escaped and took over the ship. But Jim Hawkins manages to sneak off one night to the ship. He cuts the rope because the tide is coming, and now the ship is going to be able to sail further inland in the cove, and then the ship would actually be able to fire its cannons at the fort. So he does this to sort of save some lives, and he ends up having to kill some pirates, which is very traumatic for a young boy. Shoots him in the face. In fact, apparently this film originally, when they filmed it and they sent it off to be rated, it was rated PG, and Disney only released G-rated movies. So they had to cut some of the fight scenes out. I think if you watch a film version before 1975, you'll see the edited version. And if you watch it after 1975, you'll see all those things added back in, I think. Don't take my word for it, but I could be telling the truth. Anyway, long story short, most of the pirates are killed, but they capture Long John Silver. Bill Gunn finds them. Long John Silver and his men try to find the treasure because they have the map, but it's all gone because Bill Gunn took it. And he's like, hee, where's the treasure, says you? In my home, says I. Excuse me. That's not the actual lines, but you know what I'm saying. Basically, he reveals to them that, hey, I dug up the treasure years ago. It's all in my cave. So he takes them to the cave. They all like, oh my goodness, all this treasure. It's cool. It's beautiful. They pack it up. They leave in a rowboat. So now it's just Long John Silver, prisoner, and all the good guys. But Long John Silver, because he's a clever guy, manages to get 2 guns. One from Jim Hawkins, the other one from the... And he gets them all to jump out of the boat, except for Jim Hawkins. And he wants Jim Hawkins to row and get him out of the bay. Or not row, to steer. But Jim Hawkins steers him into an island, like a bank. And because he's like a one-legged man, it's hard for him to move around. So he's like struggling to get free his boat. Meanwhile, the people he made jump out are fast approaching. They're catching up to him. But Jim Hawkins has like a change of heart for some reason and pushes his boat back out for him. And Long John Silver puts up the sail and sails off into the ocean with all the treasure. It's kind of a weird ending, I think. Not exactly what I was expecting, actually, because I never really remembered the ending, having seen it a couple times a long time ago. And so I was surprised by that, especially since in the book, he is prisoner, and it's only when they get back onto the boat and they sail the ship back, and they sail it back, and I think when they land in like Latin America, at that first stop, he escapes, but not with even all the treasure. He escapes with like a bag of gold. So everyone's rich. Long John Silver escapes. He gets some money too. So it's, you could say it's like everybody wins. But Disney made a movie, strangely enough. You think Disney is like the family-friendly movie, happy endings. You'd think the bad guy would be captured again, and Jim Hawkins and his family would be wealthy, and that's how it ends. But no, it ends with them like watching him sail off and saying, part of me wishes or hopes that he makes it. Kind of a strange ending, but a good movie, and I highly recommend it. You watch it, you are basically seeing the birth of our pirate stereotype in this movie. You were seeing Bobby Driscoll at the height of his stardom with Disney after he's won. Well, I guess he won the Academy Award after this, but for performances before. I'll have to look that up. And then some very capable Shakespearean stage British actors that would, put us all to shame. A film shot by a man who would go on to win a few Oscars for cinematography. So beautiful film, beautifully scored, I think. Beautifully acted. It made a lot of money for Disney. And actually, I think, from what I understand, it was made in England because at the time, Disney paraphernalia, Disney movie, like profits made, couldn't go back to the main Disney corporation in America, in the States. So any money made by Disney in the UK had to stay in the UK. So they had like a bank account, I guess. So like, we have lots of money that's just being stashed there, and we need to use it. So let's go film a movie there. So they did it. It was successful. It made lots of money. I think it paved the way for Pirates of the Caribbean, that ride. I mean, it must have convinced everyone that everyone loves pirates. It helped Bobby Driscoll become Peter Pan, the voice of Peter Pan, which is another great movie, but not a live-action movie, so we won't be watching it. And good times. Anyway, I'm blabbing now, but it was fun. I hope you guys watch the next movie. It's Robin Hood and His Merry Men. You'll find it on Disney Plus. Watch it before next week and join in. Maybe you guys can leave some thoughts about Treasure Island in the comments below. Any sort of tidbits you've heard, rumors. We can do the same for Robin Hood and His Merry Men next week. But yeah, it'd be fun to go through all the movies, because I think a lot of people skip these older ones now with the advent of Marvel and Pixar and all these wonderful they're wonderful movies. I really enjoy them, but there's something for the old ones too. So I don't want them to be forgotten, and I'd like you guys to watch them as well. So check them out. We will see you later this week. I'm hoping Thursday I'll be able to sit down and we can talk about another Disney topic twice a week, hopefully, if the wife approves. put in a good word for me. And I will see you guys bloop, next week. Bye, everyone.